of Georgia. Thanks for joining me, Dana, as co-host.
Thanks for
We're
having me,
gonna,
Ida.
you're welcome. We're going to continue talking today about gaited horses, and this is sort of the second part.
Awesome. So I understand that we got some inquiries about our Western Dressage video, Gaited Horses and Western Dressage. So I think that was awesome.
We did. It was amazing. We had lots of calls, and people had questions. It was great that we had a lot of interest.
Yeah. So I had questions, I know, after the last one. I was super intrigued to learn more about Gaited Horses and Western Dressage. So I'm just going to start off. If I bought a gaited horse, or was considering buying a gaited horse, how would I learn more about its gaits?
Oh, that's a great question. Up in front of us here, we have the equine gait spectrum, and this is produced, of course, by horsesandus.com. So thank you to them. And this describes the gait spectrum of horses, and it's a super chart, which helps us a lot. Over here on the left is the pace, which is truly a two-beat lateral gait. You see it right down here. It tells us lateral gaits. And into the stepping pace, which is an even two-beat gait, into the rack and running walk, which are variations of the walk. And those animals tend to have an even four beat, also referred to as more of a square gait. These are the terminologies of the gait spectrum. And then moving on to the horses, which are headed more towards a diagonal two beat trot. They're not there yet, but they're headed in that direction, which is the foxtrot. And we all know Missouri foxtrotters. They talk about the foxtrot. And this is an uneven two beat gait. So, and then you get down to the trot. So on both ends of the spectrum here, you have the pace on one end, which is a two beat gait, even the left front and left hind together, right front and right hind together, and the trot totally evenly two beat, which for us in Western dressage is called the jog and trot. They're the same thing, but we call the trot the jog in Western. So this gait spectrum helps you. And the interesting thing about the gaits of these breeds is that there are huge, there's so many numbers of breed organizations, and we're going to post those for people at the end so they can find these organizations, which help them with what pace, what intermediate pace their horse is supposed to be doing. And it talks to them about what the gait standard is for the intermediate gait. So this is how it works in Western dressage. That, let's say, for example, that you're in intro class. So you're in intro class with a walk trot horse, a walk jog horse, and they're going to be jogging, which gaited people refer to as the trot. And you come in and you walk and you trot. But a gaited horse would come in and do its intermediate gait wherever it said jog. And that would depend on the horse and what gait it does.
Got it. So if I'm showing in Western Dressage on a gaited horse, do I ride in the same classes as a horse that walk, jog, lopes? So like a trotting horse?
No, actually, which is great. You actually have separate classes, which is super. The tests are written all the same, and the tests are all the same. So if you are performing, let's say, basic level test 1 on your horse that does a running walk, you will come in and you will do regular walk, like a walk trot horse. Your horse performs walk. It performs its running walk as the intermediate gait, and then it also has to lope, because they're required to lope. Gaited horses have to lope too, and they're in the same tests. The tests don't vary at all. The movements are all the same. If you have to do shoulder in or halt or back up, whatever you're asked to do, you have to do all that, but you're in a different class. So you might be the only gaited horse, so you'd be the only one in basic level test 1, or there might be 5 horses. You are in a separate class with other gaited horses. The good thing about that is that you are judged exactly the same, and the standards are the same. If the test says that your horse must be reliably on the bit at level 2, and you have to do shoulder in and haunches in, and you're going to lope, and you're going to do lope to halt, walk. You do all that.
Mhm.
It's great. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So if I bought a gaited horse, will it perform its intermediate gait naturally?
Yeah, that's a great question, because people are like, okay, this thing is going to do, these horses are just going to do this naturally. And amazingly enough, most of them do, because conformationally they're bred for it. However, I talked to a bunch of gaited experts this week because I'm interested in gaited, and I like it, and I'm informed, but I would not call myself an expert on this. And they reliably told me that, for example, when you go to these organizations and you read their expectations of what their intermediate gait is, they will tell you this is such and such a breed. And generally, let's say, for example, that their breed of horse generally tends to do a rack as an intermediate gait.
Mhm.
But some of those horses, they have a propensity for it, they have a talent for it, but occasionally a horse that they're expecting in a particular breed to do a rack might do a running walk. And I said to them, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Like, how do breed organizations feel about that? And the breed organizations have very clear, like the information on their websites are amazing, and they really help you out. There's examples of the horses, and they have some videotape that shows you what it looks like and what they consider to be a good one. However, they do point out that whatever it is that they consider to be their breed standard gait, if your horse doesn't do it, and if you were in a show where they were asking for that, you were in an undersaddle class and they asked for the rack, but your horse naturally does running walk, that wouldn't be good because they have these requirements. Here's the interesting thing about Western dressage, though. When your horse comes in and it does any of this variation right in through here, any of this, I theoretically do not know what breed your horse is. So let's say it was a Missouri Foxtrotter and you're in there, and you, uh, if I knew it was a Missouri Foxtrotter, we would maybe expect it to do a Missouri Foxtrot, but it might do one of the other intermediate gaits. Since I don't know what breed it is, I have no expectation of what it's supposed to do. What it's not supposed to do is pace, and it's not supposed to trot. These two on these two ends of the spectrum do not go in the gaited classes. So your horse has to be doing one of these, and I'm supposed to just judge that. There's no discrimination because I don't know which breed you're riding, and I'm not supposed to know. It would be the same thing with trotting or jogging horses. I'm not supposed to know if you're riding a thoroughbred or an appendix or a quarter horse, or that's none of my business. You come in, you do the jog as requested. So the intermediate saddle gait in Western dressage, because there's all these terms,
Mhm.
we decided to simplify that. And in the gaited areas, so when you're reading the rules about gaited riding in Western dressage, the intermediate gait, which would replace the jog, is referred to as the saddle gait. And you're going to hear the Western dressage judges keep saying the saddle gait, the saddle gait. And then on the paper, they may write where the test called for a jog and you were doing the saddle gait, maybe their final comment might be, horse needs more consistent softness to the hand in the saddle gait, work for more suppleness through the corners, something like that, that they're pointing out to you that if they were making comments on the jog, they'd be using the word jog. But because you're riding a gaited horse, they're using a generic term for your intermediate gait, and they call it the saddle gait, which is really great for the judges. And I think it's super for competitors because we don't have an expectation of you performing a specific gait. What we're trained to do is evaluate the evenness, the steadiness, the consistent tempo and impulsion and balance of whichever gait that you perform as you come in. And that gait has to be the same all the way through the test. So for example, if your intermediate gait was a running walk,
Mhm.
but your horse lost its balance and he moved more towards a foxtrot, because you see this spectrum, you see how these horses move through this spectrum. I would be saying, lost balance, lost some rhythm in his running walk, his saddle gait. I would be saying saddle gait because I would be judging Western dressage, lost some balance and lost some purity of the saddle gait. Because you're required to keep the same gait or slash pace, whatever we want to call it, saddle gait, throughout the test, which is fascinating. I'm like, okay, that's a challenge for everybody. Even trotting horses have trouble keeping the same tempo, the same balance. Like we actually judge this all the same. It's just that they have these really cool gaits,
Different gaits.
which
I
is
like
neat.
that. So just so I understand, so if I'm showing a gaited horse, my horse could rack, he could running walk, he could foxtrot, but we couldn't pace or trot. Is that correct?
Yes, because if your horse does jog, if it trots, it should be in the trot
Yeah.
class. It should be
Okay.
in the walk, jog, lope class. And right now, there is no place for pacing. Pacers do not go in with trot horses, but they also do not go in with gaited horses at this time.
Okay. Well, that's perfect. I think that this was an amazing explanation. Like it answered my further questions about the gaits of gaited horses because to someone like me who doesn't know a lot, it can be a little confusing. So Ida, thank you so much for answering my questions.
Great. Well, let's get together again soon. And for everyone else, join us again soon. And until then, enjoy the journey and hug your horses for us. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Here are some gated horse breed organizations that you can check out to find more information. If you like the information we provided today, please subscribe, like, and share. Also check out idanorrisdressage.com and Ida Norris Western Dressage on Facebook.